much for staying with us on Tea or Coffee. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms at High Impact TV and at High Impact TV UK. The conversation this morning has been about bad money habits and how you can stop them. And so we're moving from that conversation into investments and savings and what you should do with your money. But of course, I am no financial expert, and I have one in the studio with me this morning. I'll be speaking with Ayo Emahiome. He'll be talking to us about investments and savings, what you need to do with your money, and general financially smart tips that you need to take heed of. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Tea or Coffee.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, when you hear the word investment, more often than not, most people think of stocks or think it's something that is only meant for those that are wealthier or older or richer or that are well advanced in their careers. Although this has some elements of truth in it, but when done responsibly, investing is the best way to grow your money, and most types of investments are accessible to virtually anyone regardless of age, income, or career. Such factors will, however, influence which investments are best for you at this particular moment. Or, for example, someone close to retirement with a healthy nest egg would likely have a very different investment plan than someone who's just starting out in their career with no savings to speak of. Neither of these individuals should avoid investing. They should, however, just choose the best investment for their individual circumstances. And speaking about circumstances, why is it that investment plans differ from person to person?
Well, starting from investment in the first place, an investment is just creation of wealth.
Okay.
So irrespective of you already being rich, or you are poor, or you are somewhere in the middle, it's just creation of wealth. And so based on that, for me, that's even the reason why anybody needs to have an investment.
Okay.
Unless you are not interested in having wealth.
Okay.
If you are interested, then you need an investment and you need to be investing.
Okay.
Although there are other reasons why, some is to either to meet a particular goal or target, or of course to create a standard and all that, and some is for something to be able to take care of their generations coming. But basically, investment is for, one, creating wealth, two, staying wealthy.
So we have established that anyone can invest, and in fact, everyone should invest,
Everyone
especially
should invest.
if they are interested in growing their wealth.
Yes.
So what falls within the scope of investment? What is an investment? What is not an investment? Some people will tell you, oh, I invest in gold, I buy gold pieces. That's an investment because maybe when I need money, I can sell it. I mean, what falls within the scope of investment? So we have that out of the way.
Starting from where we said that investment is creation of wealth. So anything that gives you value is an investment. So it's not just about money. It could be your time. It could even be a relationship. But anything that gives value is an investment, and it means you must allocate something to it. But basically, in the financial balance, it's anything you allocate money to with an expectation of a return, a positive return in this case, then it's an investment.
Okay. All right. So how is an investment different from savings?
Okay, savings is supposed to be money you set aside for a purpose, which includes investment. And usually savings is short term, 1 month, 3 months, 1 week, 12 months. You have a target or a purpose in mind, that's what you're saving for. But investment now is allocating that money to get a returns. Remember, savings was just for a purpose, but investment now, there is a income value behind it.
Okay.
But I don't want to use income. There's a return you are expecting, because investment is not just getting monetary returns alone. So, but really, investment is putting down money to get a return, an expected return on it, minimum. It can be more. But minimum is that, okay, I am putting down 1,000 to make 100, and I made 100. Up me, I did well. But if it's more, then let's celebrate.
Okay. So what types of investments are available? What options are available for anyone, really?
There's a wide variety of investments.
Okay.
So usually, instead of going through the whole gamut, investment is usually decided by the purpose, the capital or the sum you have to invest, and then how long do you have that money for.
Okay.
And of course, the time you are making that investment. When I say time, basically it could be something around your age. Okay. Because the kind of investment a 50-year-old is doing is very different from the kind of investment a 20-year-old person would be doing. So that's where time comes in. Then purpose is the key.
Okay.
Are you investing to quickly get returns for a short term and then return the money? Then, or are you investing to diversify your portfolio or to even create wealth, basically? Then there is purpose, there is timing, there is also then how much do you have to invest? And that is a key decider, because there are some investment classes. It is the particular sum you have that decides your ability to play in it. And there are some particular sums that you think it's such big money, but at the end of the day, it just turns out to be savings. You are not ready to go into that particular investment. So those are the things that decides the kind of investment and what is available.
Okay.
It's not just, okay, I have 100,000, let's go into it. No.
Okay. Okay, I would really like for us to actually narrow it down and, mention a few examples of investment opportunities, because I know that some people may not even understand, okay, some people will tell you, oh, it's bonds. Some people will say it's stocks. Some people will say it's buying shares. Some people say it's real estate. So, and we all know that investment opportunities are bound in different places, like in different sectors of the economy. So can we at least narrow it down to be specific about some things that, for instance, a 9-to-5 person, someone who runs a 9-to-5, who earns, say, 150,000 naira per month from the 9-to-5, what kind of investment opportunities are available to that kind of person?
Okay, 150,000 in Nigeria for today is a lot of money, and you can do a lot with it. But first of all, I will divide our investments into 3 types. We have the short-term investments, the medium-term investments, and the long-term investments. Usually the best form of investment is the long-term, because it's safer and it compounds and it gives room for wiggling around. So for short-term investment, like that 150,000 person now can start there. And usually you have the money market and the money market instruments. You have the fixed deposits, you have the savings instruments, you have the bonds, and because we have short-term bonds, you have the bonds and various instruments like that. But the most common is the money market instruments, where you fix your money, put in fixed deposits or the likes. And then you have the medium term. The medium term are those investments still like fixed deposits, but now for a longer term, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. Those are medium term investments. You now have the stock market, because stock markets going into the stock market is a capital market, so it's long-term investment, but the shortest tenure you are expected to play in it is the medium term. That is, you are going into it for like 12 months, 36 months with a expected return. So if you go in based on that, then you are playing there. Then of course, short term too, you have the FX market, you have the commodities market. Then for the medium term, you also have the commodities market. That is where your gold comes in and all the others. Then the long term now, you now play in areas like the stock market, you play in the real estate sectors, and the amount you go in varies. Sometimes some people, instead of saving direct, maybe out of your 150, you take 10%, 15,000. You want to be saving it, but you are saving towards investment. So why wait till it's 100,000? Take the 15,000 and start buying stocks every month.
Okay.
So because in a year's time, your capital in the stock market would have been about 180,000.
Okay.
But because of appreciation of your shares and dividends and all that, your 180 would have gotten to like 200,
All things being
250,000,
equal.
all things being equal, 200 to 50,000. So you got your savings plus returns on your investment. So that's the beauty of that.
Okay, so we're saying that for a person who earns 150,000 naira a month,
Yes.
you can set aside 10% of that and plow it into buying of stocks or
For
buying
example,
of shares or
yes.
buying of bonds
Yes.
and all that. Okay, all right. So let's move to, you know, we're talking about all the options available
Yes.
are dependent on varying factors.
Yes.
Like your age, how long, if you want it to be a short-term investment or a long-term investment. So what must a person know? What should you know? Say you are a 30-year-old. What should you know? And then we're also going to touch on a 50-year-old or someone who just retired and who just got his retirement benefits.
Okay.
What should you know before you invest? So those three categories of people, we're starting with the 30-year-old.
Okay. A 30-year-old, if he just started work, as in just started his work life, fine. But I would take it a notch lower to 21.
Okay.
So at 21, you start your investment. At that time, you have your whole future ahead of you. So it's usually advisable you invest in medium to long-term investments, which includes stocks. You build up your stock portfolio to a certain amount. Let's say you decide, let's work with the 150. You decide to set aside 20% in this case, if you are younger. In fact, as a younger person, 25%, 30% is more advisable. And then if you are also your appetite. You know, there are some people that are risk averse and there are some people that are ready to take high risk. If you are the type that is ready to take high risk, put 35% of your investment, of your income into your investment because you are very young. You have a whole future ahead of you. At 35%, you do that for the next 10 years. Or 5 years, you know what volume you would have gotten in terms of returns, appreciation, and all that. And then 5 years down the line, I expect you to have gathered enough income to diversify. At 180,000 per annum comes to about, let's say, plus or minus 2 million. You should be being able to grow 2 million in 5 years. So with 2 million, you can now use that and diversify your portfolio either into bonds or real estate.
Okay.
And then in your real estate investment, you grow that to over the next 10 years and so in 15.
How does I'm so sorry for jumping in because I'm trying to calculate if this person is a 21-year-old.
Yes.
Which we know that in the reality, in the real sense of it, a 21-year-old is probably not earning 150,000 naira in Nigeria. Because you would have things like, oh, there's still schooling going on, or, oh, you need 5 years of experience before we can give you this kind of job. You know, all of those factors come to play. Yes. So I'm trying to calculate how, say, for instance, let's even have one unicorn 21-year-old who makes 150,000 a month, who is able to set aside 35% of that income into investment, who over 5 years has compounded it to 2 million, now wants to go into real estate. Now, over 5 years, that person is now 26 years old.
Yes.
Now wants to go into real estate investment. How does real estate investment work for that person? Like, is it that you buy land or I don't know, how does that work?
With 2 million naira, you can buy land, one. You can also buy a house, two. Okay. So it depends on where, number one, what location. For real estate, it's all about the location. So it's what location are you interested in?